We do controversy pretty well around here. I would say if you've been part of Pangea for a while, controversy is not something we shy away from, usually. And it's usually a different kind of controversy than churches you've been a part of in the past, right? Like churches you've been a part of in the past have their own version of controversy that kind of gets you like, oh, this is bad, right? But there's other controversy that some of you are like, thank God someone's saying this stuff, right? And we don't shy away from saying some stuff. Like we talk about empire and the problem of empire and how the New Testament invites us to subvert those kinds of tendencies. We talk about militarism being a bad idea. We talk about peacemaking being central to the gospel of Jesus. And your guy who teaches, this pastor guy named Kurt, he's even this weird thing called an open theist. And if you know what that means, you know it's bad. If you don't know what it means, you know it doesn't matter, right? Like in Christian circles, some of these things are taboo. We don't talk about these things because they don't fit the box that we may have generated. Well, today, I'm going to talk about what I think is actually the most controversial thing I've ever talked about, and it's money. Anyone? If you're married, money's already controversial in your house. If you're a person who grew up in the church, when you think of churches and you think of money, you think, that's leading towards something I'm not comfortable with. I'm one of those people. I totally get it. In fact, if I'm really honest with you, we've been at this. Next week, we start a new series called The Politics of Jesus, by the way. If you want to launch with us this fall, The Politics of Jesus starts next Sunday. We're going to be just talking about a countercultural campaign of love for like 5 or 6 weeks, wrestling with what it means to be political people in a system that seeks to polarize us. You want to talk controversy, man, we're doing controversy. You want to talk controversy, come to my house and listen to my daughter, who says to me every other day, and to my wife, she always says things like, hey, Daddy, when am I going to get a baby sister? Talk about controversy for a minute, right? This is recurring in my house, and we have no plans. We're not sure what's going on. Like, I'm not covering anything up. Like, we literally have no plans at this point, and so we had this idea. What if we try and, she's 3, so how do we, help her little brain understand that it's not the right time for Mommy and Daddy? Well, what if we help her understand that maybe Jesus isn't ready to give us a baby yet? And so we started with that, right? And Jesus isn't ready to give us a baby, honey, but when Jesus thinks we're ready, we'll be ready. And we thought, this is a good reframe. This is great. We've dealt with our little controversial tension. And then one day she comes to us, and you know what she says? Daddy, how come Jesus won't let me have a baby sister? And I just realized that I destroyed my daughter's chances of being a Jesus person for the rest of her life. And then now we're backtracking and saying, well, honey, actually, Mommy and Daddy are also part of the equation, and we're not, so we're trying to make sure we don't, put some weird narrative in our head, right? We're always paranoid about that if you grew up in places where bad narratives were put into your mind, right? And we can't avoid all of them. We try our best. But controversy is just real, but money draws out the most controversial parts of our instincts. Because on one end of it, we feel really guilty because in the United States, we're all rich. Can I say that really quick? Compared to the rest of the world, it doesn't matter what your income bracket is. In the United States, if you exist here, even way below the poverty line, even if you're going to food lines to get your meals, which, again, this is a problem. We need to address these issues. But it doesn't matter where you are economically in the United States compared to parts of Africa, compared to parts of India, compared to parts of any other continent. We are wealthy. We are. But so often money makes us feel like we don't have enough. Like we just don't have enough. And if we had a little more, we'd be more generous.